Whose is this? मैम नाम लिखिए, कल मैं खाऊं तो आरती जी का नाम लिखें. ये किसका डिब्बा? मैम प्लीज राइट योर नेम ऑन इट. What? Whose dibbas are left here? Ma'am, please take yours. अगर they are खाली also you take it with you please. स्वच्छ भारत अभियान चल रहा है. Whatever you do, carry all the stuff with you. Okay? Fine. You have not got a handout? He's not got. Prashant, some handouts are missing there. Some handouts are missing there. I hope you know each other's names now. Done? You know each other's names? Wonderful. Okay. Shall we move on then? 1 minute? Let them do it. If you want to find out anything else, you're welcome to do. It's a free country, free world, Valentine's Day coming up. Find out whatever you want to. I only asked you to find out the names in your group and of course which school they belong to, so that in case you need to find out something in the future, you could just connect with them. So that would help you. Baki personal details is up to you, ma'am. Okay? Ready? Now I want to know, how was the food today? How was the lunch? It was good? It was nice? Delicious? आपके चेहरे से उतना लग नहीं रहा था delicious था. Sorry? Salty? What else? Yummy? Okay. All mummies fight दूसरों का खाना yummy only. As long as you don't have to cook, it is always yummy on the other side. Done? Okay. Now the next part. What I did right now is classroom management. What I did just now with you is classroom management. I don't have to spell out classroom management to you. You're all doing it at different levels. So I think that's a wonderful thing. The moment I came outside my class, I don't know, in a very polite manner, I think you realized that was classroom management too. The way I invited you in, by giving you what? What did I do? Aha, aha. So what do you call that? I mean, is that a positive word? That is classroom management. And all of you, with a jiffy, were inside. Okay? If you want to get your children in your mutti, as we say in Hindi, try to translate that, it's lost. In my hands. We don't say that. In your mutti, it has a different effect. Then you need to do something which keeps them interested, engaged, and involved in the class. And all of them involved. Did you notice all of you were involved in this classroom management technique that I just used? Was it difficult? Simple. You can pick up anything. I just picked up because it was an after lunch session. I just picked up what was on your menu card. जो आपने खाया था आज. It isn't difficult. You could pick up anything. It could be colors, it could be fruits, it could be vegetables. It could be what they usually like to eat. It could be anything under the sun. The next session is for ASL especially. How do we manage a class? Because it's all about listening and speaking. See, classroom management we've all done. We've probably even had a module on that in our B.Ed programs, and otherwise we read a lot about it and we learn from a lot of experiences, अपने ही and from others also. ज़्यादातर उनकी गलतियों से हम लोग सीखते हैं. But we do learn. Okay? That's classroom. If you could just press the next one. What I did was, first, this, piche, ek second, just extending the activities from what we did and brought you back in. You are more vocal now, if you have realized. I stressed on some words. Did you notice the intonation? Happy, your lunch. Do you remember that example? I took the inputs from all of you. And that's how students' contributions come in, and that's how you encourage them. Because at times, kya hota hai class mein, children feel it's all one-sided. It's all one-sided. It's only the teacher who does the talking. It's only the teacher who does the activities. She is in total command of the situation and control. We never get a chance to say anything. And bahut sari classes mein, this is exactly what happens. You need to give it to them. And we call this a technique called, I don't know whether you've heard, it's called TTT versus STT. TTT talks about, I think it's there in the next one of the slides, must be there. It must be there. The next one. No, leave it, then I'll go to that. Leave it. TTT is teacher, yeah, it's teacher talk time. You got it? Yeah. It must be that. That's what I was saying. You have two things. TTT is teaching talk time. STT is student talk time. So teacher talk time versus student talk time. What is happening in our traditional classrooms is that the student talk time is at its lowest. We need to increase the student talk time. Let me give you an example because it's very important. We teach them so much of grammar, language, etc. Ask them to write something. They write well. They score well, don't they? Ho jata hai. Ask them to say the same thing in front of you here, which I gave you an example in the morning. They are not able to do it. Why? You never gave them practice. For example, when you have a competition, your school is going for dance competition, for example, an inter-school dance competition. Without practice, do you send them straight away for the competition? Do you? Are we sending our cricket team for the World Cup without net practice? Even the captain has to have net practice. Even he needs to come to the nets. So how do we expect our children to perform ASL tasks in the examination, Essay 1 and Essay 2 without practice? Where is it happening? Is practice happening in your classes? And we all know the answer. We don't even need to nod, or kind of swing our heads. We know the answers. So that's because we are not giving them practice. We have to decrease our time and give them a chance to practice. In class, we don't allow them to speak. After class, we don't allow them to speak. In the buses, we don't allow them to speak. At home, parents don't allow them to speak. Jab dekho phone par lagi rehti hai. So when do they get actually to practice what they have theoretically learned at school? Ho nahi raha hai. Understanding or not? Yes. Just making sure whether the chapati is working on you or the rice is working on you. Heavy food. Okay? So we need to work on that. And keeping that in mind, why do we have to teach? I think it's very simply put. Da, di, do, dum, da, da. Can you see? Pinky? Clear? Is there anything to paraphrase in this? Nobler outcomes of the whole process. What does it do? How does it help you? How does it help the students? Because right now we are talking about them. They get more imaginative. It improves their imagination. They get a little more creative, especially in activities. The best comes out. They have never tested their own potential. They get to do that. It helps them to check their own aptitude in different areas. Some work requires a lot of, shall I say, drawing or presentation. Some requires speaking. Some requires listening. It is different. Depends on the activity you have taken up. And then it's also your attitude towards the whole thing. How you take it. The way you speak. The way your body language speaks. Finally, it's your attitude towards the whole thing. How it is going to be incorporated in the final test, when a student comes and virtually sleeps over the table or puts their hands over the table in an examination room. Are we fine with that? Are we fine with that? Are we fine with that? No, we aren't. We need to teach them. All these things. These are the finer aspects that we need to teach them. So, what is the role of a teacher and how do we go about it? I think this is not very difficult. What I want you to do in your own groups at your table is give me 5 things. 5 things. The manner in which a teacher influences a student and what's their role. What should they be? You could discuss in your own groups. 5 from every table. And we're going to have it here. So I give you 30 seconds only. Sorry about the time. That's okay. 15 seconds to go. Done? Done? Ready? I'm going to invite any 2 teacher volunteers to come up here, please. Any 2 teacher volunteers. Not from the same school. See, somebody settled down. Were you both from the same school? Aha. This is classroom management. I know almost everything now. Who's from which school? Yes, ma'am. Aarti ji, aye, please. Please come up. One more teacher. Can we have a gentleman here, please? How about a gentleman? Otherwise, they'll say we are very gender biased. Aye, Mr. Praveen. You're Mr. Praveen, right? Aye. The mota pen to you. You can take the patla pen, sir. Your inputs, they are going to write on the board. Okay, you're going to facilitate. So please start writing. You take one half of the board and you take the other half. Aye, ma'am, please. So table 1, give me 1 only. Motivating. Next, Praveen. Second one, wait. Facilitator. Problem solver. Guide. Counselor. Wait 1 minute. Table number 6. This is 4. Go ahead. Observer. Yes, next, please. Interactive. Shall I put it as interactive? Wonderful. Yes, please. Mini and party. Mentor. Yes, sir. Dynamic. Oh, jo na ho to teacher hi na ho. Let's have another round. Someone who didn't answer till now. That means, shall I say knowledgeable? Knowledgeable. Subject knowledge. Give me 1 word adjectives, you know. 1 word. Kiss way mein? Code of conduct. We're talking about. Okay, code of conduct. I'm going to write it as mentor. OR. Role model. Yes, sir. Balanced personality. Someone? A parent figure. Listener. Just say listener. He has to be good. We don't accept bad listeners. Patient. Patient. Apparent. What is apparent? Did you say? A parent figure. Parent. Ma baap ki tarah. A parent figure. Listener. What else? From the last table there, table number 9, could we have you people, please? Inputs. Inputs dijiye, sir. Please give us. So that's already mentioned, so we've already mentioned that. Friendly, please. What else? What else? Geeta, aap mujhe dekh rahe hain ya unhe dekh rahe? Talk about your inputs. Give me the answers. Soft spoken. Soft spoken. In a classroom of 80, soft spoken. Go ahead. Here? Sorry? Disciplined. The teachers have to be disciplined before they expect good discipline from the students. Okay? Anything else now at random? Anybody can give us inputs. Can you let's say, yeah, let's talk about the creative part. In, innovative. What's the difference between creative and innovative? Anybody? What's the difference? Because people use it, at random, and sometimes they're not even clear about what's the difference between creativity and innovative. Sorry? From what you have, you improvise and innovate from what you already have. Creative is actually out of the box, totally thinking out of the box and doing something new. Yes. Philosopher and guide bhi laga do, sir. Philosopher and guide. Or guide. PH bhi laga do, sir. Phosphorus content. I mean, philosopher content. What else? Assertive meaning firm. Firm. What else? Well, discipline, maybe I think it comes partly, This is all a part of, yeah. Anything else? Convincing meaning? Yeah. You're the most beautiful person here. Yeah. That's how I convince you. Okay. Is there anything else? Cooperative. Cooperative. Anything else? Now talk about some guns in you which is not here. Communicative. Effective communicator. It's so important from especially the ASL perspective. Anything else? Sorry? A leader. Okay, a role model I've already mentioned here actually. It's already there. Okay. We have approximately 10 plus 10, so 20. So here 30, about 30, 32. Do you think this is enough or we can have some more? If I give you about 10 minutes more, you will have some more. Talented. Flexible. It doesn't talk about physical flexibility. It's many other things which we'll be discussing today and tomorrow. That means you teachers have all of these in you, and that's why you're in the profession. Can we have a round of applause for your own selves? This is only half of what you are. Ye board kam pad raha hai. Otherwise, we would probably put in a few more here. And if I gave you 5 minutes more time, you would put in a few more. Now, see what is not there that we have here. I don't think there's anything. Just check out. Sir, tick mark kijiye. Tick. I think we've done this. Feedback. Providing feedback is something that we missed. I think in today's world, feedback dena bahut zaruri, as Nilima ma'am was also mentioning in the morning. Gateway to ASL has a link which talks about giving feedback, self, and then you also have any feedback on the whole component of ASL. Please get back to CBSE on that. So there is a link on which you can provide feedback. Feedback obviously is both pluses and minuses, the challenges that you faced. Effective communication, I think we did all that. Did you notice you've mentioned more than what we have on our slide? And that's all kudos to you. And you are all of that in this one figure each in your school. So 2 teachers from one school, you can imagine kitna kuch hai aap logon mein to handle the whole situation. That's why you're doing pretty well. Now, when it comes to ASL, some people have challenges as to how you could be a good classroom manager. Can you put your hands together for these 2 people over here who took the trouble to write all this down? You are so fast. And fir bhi un logon ne likhi diya. Thank you so much, Praveen sir, and thank you so much, Aarti ma'am. Please take your seats. Thank you. And I mentioned to you the TTT versus STT. Now I'm given you some handouts over there. And let's take handout number, what is it called? No, first is Classroom management. You have this picture. Do you have this picture? Prashant, just check if somebody has missed out this handout. It is handout number 6. Could you just check out? Please raise your hands, those of you who haven't received it, so that he can reach you. Okay. Now the pictures that you see, I'll just brush that up. Okay. The 2 pictures that you see here, yaha Prashant, some more here on the first table. You've got it? Okay. If you notice the pictures, because this is a photocopy of the original, too much of dark shades coming into the picture, nothing to worry. The first one is the traditional mode of teaching, the traditional method of teaching. Okay. The teacher, da da dee da do do blah blah blah, and the students are listening. And if you see the seating arrangement also is a traditional one. If you go to the second picture, just below, that is a more, shall I say, new method of teaching, the modern method of teaching, wherein we have you sitting in groups. The picture doesn't show that very clearly because I told you, okay? Kuch nahi dikh raha hai? Oh, sorry, yeah. Type 1 is the modern one and type 2 is the traditional one. Okay? Fine? The one we have in the manual is first the traditional one and then the second one is the modern. Now you can see there are 4 lines mentioned. All you have to do is just write the pros, the advantages of traditional, and the disadvantages would come in the advantages of the next one. Okay? What are the advantages of a modern classroom, like the one that you're sitting in? And of course, traditional method teaching, wherein everybody is sitting in rows and the teacher goes on teaching. Quickly, 1 minute. We won't go very much in detail, then we'll go to the next activity. This is yours. Please write your name, otherwise they'll steal that. You've written it? Ah. And this is 7A, this is listening. Have you given this? Have you given this? No? This is 6A is here. 8 निकालिए next. इसको रहने दो. We don't have time. No, we don't have time. We'll just go through this. Take out. Yeah. Okay, I think you've got the idea. And if you just share within your own group, you would have seen which is the better way of going about teaching. But I do understand in some of your classrooms, this is difficult. Okay, because you do have that kind of a seating arrangement. But do you think that stops you from doing activities? I'm just going to give you an example. And if you see the next one, 6A handout, please refer to 6A. The seating arrangement is given in 6A handout. Can you see that? Due to paucity of time, we are going to rush to the next handout. But I think you know the traditional versus modern which is a better option. Some handouts, Prashant, they have not received. Could you just help them? 6A. 6A. Have you all got it now? 6A. 6A has a seating arrangement, as you can see, the ones that you usually have in your classrooms. I'm just putting it up on the board here. Fine? And so on. And then there are about 8 questions based on classroom management, which you can just read and go through. I don't think there is anything which is very difficult. You can answer all of them. And this would be your homework. You would have to take it and please bring this with answers. Tomorrow morning, we start with a session on this. So that gives you more time, ample time to work on the answers and how to handle these problem situations. Coming to the arrangement of the seating, something like this in your classrooms, you can still do a lot of activities. So these two people can work together, or two students from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, one group, okay? Or these four, one group. So there are lots of ways that you can still do, because children love to turn back, okay, and form a group. So they will form a group here, okay? And these two will happily go and form another group here. Do you understand? So you can easily do ASL activities, because unless you practice, it is not possible. Please don't expect them to do wonders in the examination without actually giving them practice. And it's really not fair on your part to do that. Nahi karna chahiye. And after all, you're not answerable to your teacher or coordinator. There's someone above there who's also looking at you. You will get your due there later on for not doing the right thing. Okay, above them all, there is somebody who's watching us. So this is it, your homework for tomorrow. Let's go to the next handout. Handout number 7. This is your homework number 2. आपने क्या सोचा था CBSE में वर्कशॉप करने आओगे और बिना होमवर्क के जाओगे? हाँ, आप लोगों ने do you remember how many times you have given homework in the holidays? Holiday homework, Diwali में 4 दिन, Diwali assignments, projects. Okay, so get a feel of what you've done. Let it go back to you. These are situations where you get to do a little listening. You have to identify and just uske niche hi just mention according to the picture where this is happening. It's not difficult. So done. Now we are going to the next handout. This is handout number. Okay. This is handout number 10. आपने दे दिया सबको? You'll get it, ma'am. वो क्या है ना, time लगता है सोहना से गुड़गांव पहुंचने तक. It takes a little time. So it will reach you very soon. So the Jajar people have received, the others are receiving. Jajar. Or is it Jajar? It's like Gajar. I thought it was easier. Jajar. 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 This is what she said. Drilling. Jajar. 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 Tab tak Prashant would have finished his job. Done, Prashant? Okay. If you see now, in our classroom situation, culturally, if you see, in our classrooms, children don't ask questions. Mante hai? They are very silent. They'll absorb, but they don't say anything back to the teacher. Ye bura mana jata hai. Guru se sawal karna is not really in our culture. We don't ask questions. But those of you who have dared to ask, one of me being here standing right before you, I was relegated to the last bench in my classroom. Why? Because I used to ask questions. Sadly, I was the only one asking questions, so I was kind of singled out and always told to go and sit at the last bench. हमेशा classroom में बस सवाल पूछती रहती है. See, you have both kinds of people, and we grew. Both of us grew in size. Very important. Very important. But today, wherever we are, it's because we asked questions. Let me give you an example. Ma'am, what's your name?
Ramandeep.
Ramandeep. What did you have for breakfast?
Ma'am, aloo paratha with curd.
Oh, nice. Really. You take curd usually with aloo paratha?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you have day before yesterday?
Ma'am, paratha, stuffed paratha. Stuffed paratha.
Stuffed paratha day before yesterday. Do you also have pickle?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. What happened? If it is a one-sided conversation, only one person is asking the question. I'm waiting कि वो भी पूछेगी, what did you have for breakfast? She never asked me. बस अपना ही बोले जा रही है. You understand? Again, I tried, I waited, I gave her a chance to ask me a question. Day before yesterday, what did you have? Stuffed. मेरा भी पूछो मैंने क्या खाया? You understood what happened? When I was only asking the question, she never asked me any question, the conversation would stop there. Now, we need to teach our children how to ask questions. Questioning techniques, it's a technique. And we need to initiate this in our children. We'll give you a small little demonstration. Just have this in front of you. आपके पास है? आपका? Ready? Can we have another mic, Prashant, for ma'am? We'll just show you how you could do it. If you see, it's mentioned the language of the grade is A 2.2 is almost B1. The higher level of CEFR leading towards B1. And then you have B1.1, which is B1. And then you also have B1.2 almost at B2 level. So this is what they should be able to do and ask and speak.
Also, you must remember that your question should not lead to a single word answer like yes or no, like ma'am got from her. It has to be something that needs elaboration. It has to be open-ended. Suppose you end up asking a question which is close-ended, then how do you make sure that the conversation carries on? The whole concept behind ASL is to converse. It's a two-way communication. If you have to converse and you end up asking a close-ended question, what should be done? It should be followed by why. Okay, and this is what we're going to show you.
We'll just show you one example.
You start, ma'am, I will answer.
Okay, that's okay. She'll do first and then we'll do another one just to show you. I'm sure you will understand. In fact, just see how we do it and we could have some volunteers from you to do the next one. Okay? Okay, ma'am. How often do you go to the market?
Once a month.
Did you ever buy footwear in the local market?
Yes.
So when you bought this, what did it look like?
Nice.
And?
It was comfortable.
So what else do you look for?
I look for something, if it's on my feet, I want it to be comfortable because I want to be able to walk comfortably. I want my feet to look beautiful in it. And so the footwear also should be nice. I want people to appreciate that I'm wearing a nice footwear. All that I look for.
One question.
See how
First,
initially I gave her
one syllable, one monosyllables.
Yeah. But then she changed her questioning technique. We purposely did that.
Yes, just to give you an idea.
To give you an idea. So what you have to do in your classrooms is that when you are asking questions, remember the children learn more by observation rather than by prescription. If you tell them ask this kind of question, they might not learn. But if you are going to give a demonstration, if you're going to practice it, they automatically learn that. They absorb it. Therefore, when you're asking them questions, don't ask close-ended questions. Don't say, do you like coming to school? Rather say, why do you like coming to school? The child has to give you a longer answer. Understand? So same question, but the technique of asking it was different, which makes the learner respond little more elaborately. Now, what you have over here is the kind of questions you ask at every level. Though we told you that A1 and all can be put at class 1, 2, 3, actually in CEFR, this level is decided not by age, but by the achievement of language proficiency, at what level you can speak that language. You may be 20-year-old and still be A1. Yes. Or you may be 16-year-old and be C2. Okay, so it depends on the level of proficiency. That blocking, that blocks that have been made, A, B, and C, are basically for the purpose of deciding the level of proficiency that you have achieved in a language. Okay, not the age group. Whereas for our purpose in the classrooms, we definitely know that our learners in the primary and pre-primary section are going to be A1 and A2. So we start building up from that point. All yours.
Is this clear? Now, what do you do about it? You should make cards. You should make cards with these questions and have two people asking the same question. That means Sonia would ask the same question to maybe sir. She would then change her partner. वैसे तो partner change करने का मौका नहीं मिलता है. But in class, let's change partners. After she's finished, she will change. The teacher will say, change partners. You go to anyone around, you will repeat the same question, but obviously you will get a different answer. And that person will ask you the same question, you will give a different answer. So you can visualize in the class what's happening is, first of all, you are learning the technique of asking questions. It's possible Pinky replied properly, but with the same question, Aarti could not reply. So you went on to ask another question to get that from her, just like we did just now. Another advantage to the whole thing is, ek to ek question you will remember. Second thing, you will get to listen to different types of answers. So it exposes you to different language expressions, language functions, vocabulary, everything that is included. So you get to listen different language from her, from him, from him. And obviously, when you are asked the same question, you will have the best of everyone's in your language expression. Did you get it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you want me to give you an example?
At least right now, give a single word answer, yes or no.
Should we do it again? For example, one example. Do we have the ask card one? Yeah. Where is it? Here. Kaha? Can you just give this to all of them?
Also remember, this is a technique you need to teach your students of asking the right questions, because in the ASL exam, the second part, where they have to discuss interactive session, they have to have the right questions. Also in the first one, where you say, okay, now you can ask a question. The first part, we know they all come prepared with their prepared speeches and all, which should not happen. We're going to discuss this tomorrow. They should never be, sort of that kind that I've seen, in one of the exams that we conducted initially in the pilot test, I found one whole section good at sports, another full section music.
And everybody is talking about the relationship between mother and daughter.
Yeah.
Chahe wo son ho ya koi bhi ho. Mother and daughter. So it was very obvious.
We are going to discuss how to, prepare them for the first part of the session. Second part, how to ask questions, because the concept here is the idea and the objective behind the second part is that the conversation should carry on. And giving the other person a chance to speak, what we call turn taking,
Which is very important.
Here in the second part, the objective is not to test how well you spoke. It is to test how well a team member you played, how well you brought out the other person as well. That means your speaking skills, your questioning skills have to be so perfect that the other person also speaks. So it is interactive session, and that is the objective behind testing them. So that's why you must know. Okay, ma'am.
Let's do this. You have ask cards. Basically, what you have to do is make a card with one box. So there's only one question on each card. ठीक है? Only one question on each card. And sir, take another one, sir. कोई problem नहीं, कोई गलती नहीं.
The thing is that
so Prashant, give another one.
They've all come out very badly when I was looking at
Okay, maybe you should get this photo start again.
Yeah.
ठीक है ना? We'll
We
give
can
it
make
to you,
another
sir.
photo.
Can you just share with your friends?
Right now we'll share it.
Sir, इन्होंने
अभी
खाना
हम
नहीं खाया था
दोनों के लिए
photo
हम
copying machine ने. Try to understand. Photocopying machine is also tired now. Okay? So,
Only we.
can I take one? You've written your name. Please write your name and just share here. Please return this to Kailash. She's at table number 2. Okay, abhi aap you can all share. Do you have at least one?
You can have.
Can I have one?
Make it in a bigger font.
This is
And cut
Lakshmi.
it
Please
into pieces
return
and
this
you have
to
different cards.
Just you can refer
Each
here
child
now.
can be given one.
Just to
card.
get an idea.
The
Aapke
whole
paas
thing doesn't
kaisa?
have to be given to
You
all
can
the
read.
children.
Can you read?
Okay, you don't give
Okay.
the whole thing to all the children.
Fine. This
You-
is just for your reference. हो जाए
One card to each child.
हाँ.
So they go hunting
वो
for
तो
the person and
कोई
asking the
सांप ही है
question.
सारे.
Yeah.
वो पिंकी हटा देना नाम.
So
ऊपर
that
से.
becomes, it can
Okay.
be an icebreaker. It can be
So everybody's paper will be
interactive
pinky.
session. It could be teaching questioning
ठीक है?
techniques. It could be teaching.
How many of you don't have it? Could you
Okay,
please
so
raise your
creative
hands? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 10 बना दीजिए 10. That's enough. Don't waste. ठीक है?
Okay.
We are going to give an example. We'll demonstrate कि कैसे करना है. Will you ask or shall I ask?
You ask, I'll answer. I'm
ठीक.
always on the receiving end.
ठीक है जी.
Bichari mein. Come on.
Alka ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
how are you?
I'm good.
How good?
Oh, extremely good.
Okay ma'am. Can you tell me which person from history would you like to meet?
I would like to meet. I don't know if you've heard of this person called Rani Durgavati. I would love to meet her
And why?
because she was a very brave Gond queen who took on the Mughals, even sacrificed her own young son, Veer Narayan, for it. She took on the reins of her kingdom after her husband, King Madan Shah, died. And you know why?
Hmm?
I come from the same place that she does.
Oh, so Rani Durgavati too.
Because my university is called Rani Durgavati University. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. Then I'll change my partner and I'm going to you. Your name is Manpreet?
Deepika.
Deepika. Padu?
Deepika, you can have this mic. Oh, you have one over there?
Just switch it on. I'll ask the same question to her. So, Deepika, which person from history would you like to meet?
William Shakespeare,
And why?
because the kind of writing and the kind of philosophy he had in mind, what I study or what I have studied till now, I am a big fan of his.
Thank you. Partner change. One of you? Can you take the mic? So, Minnie, your name is Minnie? Okay. So, Minnie, which person from history would you like to meet?
I would like to meet Mahatma Gandhi
And why would you like to meet him?
because I am born on the same date on which he was.
Is that the only reason?
Because he is the father of the nation and he must have done something. Because of that, he has been regarded as the father of the nation. So I would like to meet him for his deeds that he did.
Okay. What the way he contributed towards the nation. I have right now taken an example with only 3. And then I keep circulating around and changing my partners. Okay. I keep asking the same question. Abhi inhone nahi kiya. Deepika was also supposed to ask her question to me and I would have answered. Ask one question. So I get to listen to 3 different people, 3 different answers. And if I ever have been asked the same question, I would give the best answer. And that could be totally different from whatever they've said.
Hi, Hemal.
Hi, Kalka ma'am.
I'm going to tweak this question a little bit from what is
It's not
given
fair
to
out
her.
of syllabus, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's very much in the syllabus.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Why do you like to teach English?
Because I can't teach any other subject, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm sure you can.
Because basically, I talk, walk, laugh, eat, and sleep English, ma'am.
Oh, I see.
Hmm.
How do you sleep English, Hemal?
Ma'am, when I sleep in an English position.
Can you demo the English?
Ma'am,
shoes
please
which
give
you
me a
use?
bed.
Ma'am, the table is all yours.
No, ma'am, I don't sleep on.
Absolutely impossible, darling.
Yes, I know, ma'am. That's why I need a bed, ma'am. English bed.
Okay.
I mean, we are going ahead actually because, we are talking at the level of a teacher. But otherwise, you can see how the students
Why
would
do
answer.
you want to learn English, ma'am? Madam?
Aarti,
Aarti,
ma'am.
ma'am? Why do you want to learn English?
I can say it is a very, very nice language. I don't have words even to express, and it fascinates me a lot. I always wanted to see.
You wanted to learn English. Okay, very good.
So by the end of, say, about 5
Why do you
partner
want to learn
changes.
English? Why do you You can keep sitting.
Sir, continue to sit, please.
And this language is just like a window to the international.
Oh, beautiful.
It's very helpful to exchange our ideas in other
Clear
countries.
Very good. What we're trying to tell you is that when you move around asking the same question to different people, not only are you getting different answers, you're getting different language structures. In this language structure, actually, when we are testing you out, if you recall a slide we showed you right in the beginning, we said in the assessment of ASL, we want to test certain things, fluency, okay, and how much sense you make, coherence and cohesion, your vocabulary, the structures, and all that the learner gets a chance to use. Because see, each one of us, we did a different thing. It was fun thing, and that was a different level of answers. You gave me a very different level of answer, and he. Now, do you think the vocabulary was same? The structures were same? No. Did it make sense? Were they coherent? Was there cohesion? Were they linked? Did they link their ideas? Sir said certain things. Were his ideas linked? Was there cohesion there? So all this is what gets generated when you ask these questions, and you have so many of them. Encourage your learners to ask follow-up questions. First of all, the question is to be asked in such a way that you get an elaborate answer and there is no need for it. At least 2 to 3 different sentences, well knit answers where the cohesion is there. They should be coherent. There should be a variety of structures. This variety of structures comes up as they advance in their learning level. Okay, some children have very advanced language abilities even in class 3. Some don't have it even in class 10. Okay, so what we need to do is, ensure that all our learners come up to that level which we have decided at this point they should have. And for that, CBSE has already said that at a certain point, this is the kind of vocabulary you should have. This is the number of structures you should use. If you were to look at 2005 NCF, you'll find your answer there. Okay, 250 structures you're supposed to know.
Use.
Okay, and 5,000 words you're supposed to know. All right, so you can look at those, the most frequently used structures, most frequently used vocabulary. That is something that should be done.
Taking from here itself, taking on from here, on the gateway to ASL in the CBSE website, ma'am mentioned to you, there is gateway to ASL. Are you familiar with gateway to ASL? All of you? Great. And that, as Nilima ma'am in the morning also mentioned, I reiterate the same point. I might sound repetitive, it's okay. There are activities, different kind of activities as to how to go about improving your speaking abilities, your listening abilities. And you could pick out an activity which suits your classroom situation, the average learner of your class. Lots of activities. So pick up something from there and see what you could do. These are just a few basic ones which they need to learn anyway if they need to be able to communicate and perform well in the speaking test. We are doing, shall I say, the basics of what we would be actually testing and assessing tomorrow. The finer aspects. And these are very important for that. Is that clear? Any savals for us? Anything at all, please feel free
Like a
to ask.
Fauji, let me ask, koi shak ya sawal?
Great. Let's go on to the next part. Listening handout. Why should we teach listening? Ma'am, would you like to do this? Alka ma'am? मैं वो देखती हूँ, आप देख
But नहीं, perhaps they got the right handout first.
I'll take care of the listening one.
Haan.
You go ahead and explain. I'll take care of the...
All right.
Do you need a microphone?
I have it. Leave that alone. Answer another question of mine. Why do we need to listen at all? Wonderful. If you don't listen well, you don't respond accurately. So to be a good speaker, you need to be a good listener. But listen to what? For what? Okay, for understanding. So we have to ensure that certain listening sub skills are taken care of in the classroom. We're talking of that when you listen, after all, that is the first activity that we all do from the moment we are born. Before we learn to speak, we learn to listen. When we speak our mother tongue well, it is simply because we have absorbed that language through the ear. No doubt, our very first sacred scriptures are Shrutis. They're all what they heard and memorized. Shrut means to hear. Okay, so it is because this is the most important organ for acquiring a language. Only when you listen well, you speak well. If you speak well, you read well. If you read well, you write well. So listening accurately and listening properly is very important. Most of the time, we are so busy listening to our own voice, we forget to listen to what we need to listen. So we need to ensure that our learners listen to what they need to listen so that they acquire language subconsciously. That is why most of us, we say, though English is not my mother tongue, but I have learned it more by ear than by the grammar book. The grammar book didn't teach me any English. I learned English because I was surrounded by that language. My teachers, I never realized that they knew Hindi at all till I met them outside in the market, shopping something, and I heard them speak in Hindi. I didn't even know that they knew Hindi at all. So it's because we were constantly listening to it. So subconscious acquisition of language has to take place only when we listen. You have to ensure that you create listening situations in the classroom. Then it provides vital information. Right now, you are listening to us for information that's very important for you to be able to conduct ASL accurately in your classrooms. We even acquire grammar structures. We don't have to be told this is subject, verb, object. Did your mother, in her mother tongue, tell you now you're speaking karta, karm, kriya, or vachya? No. But you have learned the language. Did you learn grammar? No. So grammar has to be learned for a different reason. It's more for self-editing. But acquisition of language, acquisition of structures happens when you listen. When you listen. Then contextualization of new vocabulary. I can give you a word, but if I don't know how to use that word within the right context, it's no use my knowing that word. So it has to be learned within the context. Okay, then it also helps us learn pronunciation, rhythm, stress, and intonation. As I said, every language has its own rhythm. It has its own stress pattern. And if right now we're talking English, if we have to learn the English language with its right pronunciation, the right stress pattern, right intonation, then we have to listen to it. And real communication requires both listening and speaking. All right. Now, what should you do? Encourage your learners to listen as often as possible, which does not mean that it becomes a TTT class. Okay, it is not meant to be a TTT class. It is still meant to be a student activated class. I won't even say student talk time because I'm talking listening here. I would say it has to be a SAT, student activated classroom where you give interesting learning situations to your learners to listen. Help students prepare to listen. You have been conducting the ASL test. How do you prepare them to listen? You tell them, okay, now you will listen for this, or you will listen to this. The two different things. Listen for a particular information. Listen to is a general listening of the entire script. Once may not be enough. When you are giving them a test on this kind of a thing, you want them to listen to it. Once may not be enough for them to comprehend, or pick out the information that you want them to pick out. So that's why in your ASL, when you're conducting the listening test, you have to play the script twice. Encourage students to respond to the content of a listening, not just to the language. The entire content, what is it about? Okay, don't let them get hassled with the nitty-gritties of the language, because here they're listening out for something very different. They're time bound, there is time limit, there's a certain expectation, and for that you cannot limit them to other things. Then different listening stages demand different listening task, different kinds of things. And that's why if you've seen, you have conducted ASL tests in your school, the listening test, you find there are 4 different kinds of listening tests, and all the 4 have different kind of listening worksheets with them. Yeah, the objective behind all of them is different. Some way you're listening out for just basic information, one word. Some way you're listening out for the gist. Some way you're listening out for evaluative. Some way you're listening out for what is intended. Okay, so you have to make sure you tell your students you will be listening to this particular thing for this task, and utilize authentic language and context. Don't bring out something very fancy. Have real life situations. You could have announcements. Okay, you could have an important speech which is relevant to the students. Some tips, examination tips. You want them to do a certain task, listen to instructions, morning assembly instructions we give out, isn't it? After that, they're not there. Well, what did madam say about it? Because they were not listening to it. So you could record these morning assembly things and play it in the classroom as a listening task with a suitable worksheet, advertisements. And you have, something that surrounds them in their real life situations, something that is very relevant to them. All right. You don't look for something, you're looking for a speech which is from history. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to this student. But if in class 11, the student could be interested in what is happening in the world outside in the political situations, and perhaps you could pick up a speech from there and ask them. Or they're listening out for something that interests them, a sale. You have all these things announced on the radios and televisions. Something like that you pick up. It has to, because believe me, anything that has to do with language, that is using language, is a tool for teaching language. Please don't think that those flyers that they send as junk mail, you can throw them. No, even those are useful. Sometimes to point out errors, sometimes to be used as testing materials. Okay, so anything that uses language is not wasted. You can use that if it deals with their real life situations. You can because that is what we have here. No, no, this is the listening written paper for, this is different.
In listening, because we're talking about listening, she mentioned.
Yeah.
You will have 4 types of tasks. The first one, the second task 2, task
Yeah.
3, and task 4. Okay? Whether it's in class 9, 10, or 11, you have 4 tasks.
And the whole paper is for
20.
20 marks. Okay. Now, the first one is usually, as she mentioned, an announcement or an advertisement, okay, or some tips to do something, a short one, and you have fill-ups,
Fill-ups.
okay. You must remember in the fill-ups, though there will be just 4 of them, and this is for 4 marks, though there will be just 4 of them, you have to write the exact word as mentioned in the passage by the speaker. So, if the answer is presides, he presides over the function. If the child writes preside, what should you do? That's my question to you. Do you have half marks in listening and
You don't
speaking?
have.
Yes. Nowhere along, either in the listening or in the speaking, do you have
No
it's very easy,
fractions.
3.5 and a 4.5 that English teachers give? It's not there. It's either 3 or it is 4. So what would you do if you have a child who writes a preside instead of the answer which is given by the end of the worksheet? For the teachers, you already have the answer keys, and the answer is presides. So what have you done? As if you must have faced such challenges when you were doing corrections during your listening.
You're not given marks.
You're not giving marks. Actually, that is the situation. You're supposed to listen. That's why do bar, twice, the audio is played to you. Do you have any other answer for this? She's right now. You're just confirming. You do not give marks, because then what happens? All the 4 would have a slight difference in their answers, and without listening properly, he's getting full marks.
Yeah.
Now, let's put this into a real life situation where he's standing at the airport or in the railway station, and the announcer says, the train will leave on platform number, and he's heard only part of what he thought was right. Predictive listening kiya usne. That's a sub skill. I've just given you one. He predicted that this is what it is going to be, and the train was in some other platform. He rushes there, realizes, comes back, it's too late. We have to train our children to listen carefully. Okay? And if that means deducting 1 mark at age group of, class 9, so be it. At least you'll become a better citizen. Okay? You'll become a better individual. You are, practicing one of those basic skills. The second one, the second task, you have MCQs. Okay? So there are distractors. Please remember, these distractors are very close to the real answer. So if they don't listen carefully again, they would really goof up over here. Okay? And these are 6. If I remember right, there are 6 of them. Then you have 5 speakers, and you have to match their statements. Yes, I think you heard this. So there are 5 speakers speaking on the same topic. For example, they're speaking on health and hygiene, all of them, or healthy habits or exercise. Everybody is speaking, and nobody is taking any names. There is no speaker 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to listen. Who was the first speaker, second, third, fourth, and fifth? And then you have statements. Please remember, the statements are not cut, copy, paste. They are rephrased. They are rephrased, giving the gist of what that speaker has said. So then you have to say speaker number 3, say whoever, 5, whoever. You have to write the speaker number. Okay? And sometimes they even give you a box. Isbar, if you remember, they gave you a box. Okay? To write the speaker numbers. And the last one is a speech. A speech or a discussion at the higher level. Yeah. A discussion. And what are you expected to do? Sorry?
MCQs are there. You fill in the blanks with you.
Absolutely. It is again. Okay? You have to give training and practice to your children to be able to do this. Again here, if they write the wrong word, there are sometimes 2 words in one sentence. Isne sahi likh diya, okay? Going up. Here it's going and not written anything there. Or going along. whatever here, he going pub, he heard it as pub, okay? Or going pub, he heard it as pub. He didn't listen to it carefully. You cannot give half marks. He loses marks for the whole sentence.
Like now, if we have given already, then
I don't
then
know.
it's okay. Next time we won't give.
Don't do it. This is your first workshop. You've got a certificate, relieving order saying you attended workshop on the so-so, but you submitted the evidence on so-so. But this is what we say, that everybody should learn and attend workshops so that you know, actually everything cannot be put on the website. Would you agree? It's not possible to do it. So these are the finer things that you need to learn when you attend workshops.
And then on website, you can't ask your questions like the way you're asking.
Yeah.
This becomes highly interactive.
Absolutely.
You have your questions because, there you'll keep your questions to yourself. If you've noted them down, fine. Otherwise, you won't even remember you had a question to ask, and nobody is going to answer those over there. So it's much better to attend these workshops. You see the website, come back here, attend a workshop, and then I think, it's more enabling for you after that.
Do you have any questions on the listening area before I ask you questions? We're going to have a quiz now. And I want to know how you're going to do it. Unless you have had a first-hand experience of actually conducting the listening test, you wouldn't be able to answer my queries. Have you all had an opportunity to conduct the listening test? Every one of you? Wonderful. Did you face any challenges along the way? Any problems? कहीं कुछ कठिनाइयां कि ये नहीं हो सकता है, क्या हम ऐसे कर सकते हैं, क्या हम वैसे कर सकते हैं? Any questions? Well, if you have, yes, Sakshi ma'am.
Times children say that they were not able to listen even after 2 readings, the audio script.
Readings? Sorry, one minute. Let me get
the
it.
audio script. They were not able to answer. So can we play it the third time?
No. They have to listen. Actually, in real life, nothing is played twice back. You go and say, can you tell me how to read CBSE Office? Excuse me, can you tell me how to read CBSE Office? And you will answer 2 times.
Ma'am.
Somebody asks you questions 2 times. Is it possible? Is it a real life situation? This is only to get them on the mode. Maybe later on it will just be one time listening. Because abhi they are not accustomed, they are not tuned into doing that. We are getting them on board right now. Then slowly, दो बार तो होता ही नहीं चाहिए मैम कहीं भी. It's just once. It's just to give you a practice to make you an attentive listener, a good listener. If you're not a good listener, you won't be, as we mentioned, a good responder.
That's why I think throughout the year, you need to keep on giving them
Yes.
practice for these things. Pick up different things, not the same thing. There's so much available,
Yeah.
so much material available on the net, your YouTube and things
Even
like that.
to ASL.
Yeah. And
Yes.
yeah, just take up that and give them practice, as much practice as you can. Within your school, I'm sure you have a music room where you can record certain things, not in your voice, so that they get used to different voices and different ways of speaking. Have somebody record it for you, play it in the classroom, make a question paper for that, and give them practice so that they know this is exactly what they're expected to do. Don't expect them to all of a sudden start answering questions.
This is really not
So
fair.
you have to give them practice. Drill, drill, drill. I will once again come back. It's not drill in speaking alone. It's drilling for everything that you want them to. For every skill, you need to drill them, ma'am.
There is plenty of material on Gateway to ASL2. Okay, even for listening. You have sample papers of the previous years, 3 years, with answer keys and audios. You don't have to do anything except download them. Give them practice. It's just getting them on that mode to be attentive listeners. Okay, my next question. Should you allow the students to read through the worksheet before listening to the audio?
Yes.
Yeah.
How long should you? How much time? 30 seconds. Ma'am, can you just read the worksheet in 30 seconds? Can you just do it? Just read one sheet in 30 seconds. I start your time now. Is it possible?
Not possible.
So, 2 minutes at least. Okay? At least 2 to 3 minutes. It doesn't take much time. It's just a worksheet because then they know what to look for. what to listen for, as she mentioned just now. Listen to and listen for. There's a difference.
And in listening skill activity, for one part, for example, for part A, there are 4 parts. 30 seconds are devoted for part A. Then
Ma'am,
30 for part B.
you should read the whole worksheet before you start the audio. All the 4 tasks. Because if you're reading when the audio is going on, you would have missed already something. You should read the worksheet before you start the audio.
Ma'am, the 2 passive skills we call them, that is listening and writing, reading and reading. Listening and reading are the 2, input skills or writing. What we say when you're teaching reading comprehension also, and how to deal with reading comprehension in the exam is, tell the students not to bother about the entire thing. They must first read the questions so that they can attempt, they know what to look for. It's exactly the same thing you need to do for listening comprehension as well. Okay? Because these are both comprehension skills. Remember that. Both are comprehension skills. And in comprehension skills, you have to tell them what to look for, what to listen out for. Okay? And that is why give them enough time. Don't we say even in the written exam that first take enough time to read your question paper?
15 minutes is given to you as really
Yeah. Yeah. Why?
just to go through the
Why? So that they understand what is to be written. They don't start thinking and groping. Otherwise, you would find children spending a lot of time on the comprehension passage in the exam. But if you give them this instruction that read the questions and then read the question paper and then read the passage, it's much faster. Same thing goes for listening. If they read the worksheet well, then listening to it twice will be good enough, ma'am.
Now, my next question. Suppose, for example, let's just take this example. Sunil and Pramila sitting in front of you. Now, they are both teaching in the same school. She takes 9th A, she takes 9th C, D, she takes 9th A and F. Just an example. Sunil is absent on the day of the listening test. So, who's going to invigilate in Sunil's classes? Give me answer. Please speak into the mic so that everybody gets to know your answers. So who's going to invigilate in, who takes the exam or who conducts the exam in Sunil's class? Who? Pramila. Uski class mein kaun jayega? Have you not faced this problem ever? You must have had. Yes, please. How would you handle it?
Substitution teachers
A substitution teacher. You don't need Pramila or Sunil to be in their sections when the test is being conducted. Any teacher teaching any other subject can invigilate. You don't need an English teacher in the respective classes. Is that clear? Koi bhi le sakta hai. It's only invigilation. There are no inputs to be given. On and it's over. The worksheets are distributed. Is that clear? So it happens sometimes the teacher is not there. Of course, the papers that are collected from Sunil's classes would be given back to her whenever she comes back, or it's sent to her home, as some people do, for correction. And Pramila ma'am's sections, ke jo papers hain, they will be given to Pramila ma'am for correction. Is that clear? Any questions on that? My next question. Should you announce the date of the listening test?
Yes.
How much in advance?
10 days, 1 week, 10 days.
As much as possible in advance.
Even
If
a
you have-
month, ma'am.
Even a month in advance, because people have plans. Kisi ki shaadi hai, chacha ki shaadi hai, kisi ke roka hai, kisi ka kuch bhi hai, havan hai. So if you know the dates, please announce in advance. Let everybody know that the test is going to be held on so and so date. My next question, if Anjali, Surinder sir, Narendra sir are absent on the day of the listening test, if Surinder, Narendra, Virender and Anjali are absent on the day of the test, what do we do?
All the substitution teachers will be there.
No, no, we're talking of
We're
students.
talking, we're talking about probable students. I'm just giving you at random some names who are already here. There is no Virender though, but still.
Absentees will sit together and then
Ma'am, would you do that in the science practicals?
Ah.
You should not be taking it again, I think.
1 minute. Let me ask you a question. You said that you put them all together for another test.
we can
Fine.
do that.
No, you can do that. Okay. My next question is a follow-up question of your answer. Anjali comes, Surinder comes. Virender, Narendra don't come even then. Then what? Then what? No, these are real problems that people have faced. I'm giving you only those. जब ऐसा होता है, what have you done or what would you do or what should you do?
We usually take it, ma'am, again. We should
You
not
take it
conduct,
again.
but we are enforced to conduct. We usually take it.
Ma'am, would you do it with the science practicals? No.
We already announced the date.
Yes.
As possible before that.
Yes.
We should not conduct the contest.
Yes.
Otherwise, whole year you are doing a test, a retest, a retest, a retest और चल रहा है पूरे साल SA1 का, and then जब
But
हो
then
जाएगा
they
तो SA2
become
का.
comfortable, you see. If I don't go, teacher will take it again. That
But
should not
see,
happen.
because we are into a CC system and we are very student friendly system and we are such good, accommodating, flexible, nice parent figure kind of teachers, CBSE has been very, very generous in giving you 2 sets of papers. Okay? You do only 1 set on the day of the examination as a backup. As a backup, it could be a technical problem. It could be any other kind of problem. You have only 1 more set. Okay? You must consult your head of the department and if possible your principal whether you fix 1 more have a backup. Please remember, and you do a retest, believe me, they will not come for the first test at all. We have noticed that once you tell them that this is the date, they have to be there. Absent honge to absent hai. They make sure they come, take the test and go. For those 40 minutes or 45 minutes, depending on the class, wo aate hain and then they go.
So, ma'am,
That's okay.
if one student is absent,
He
then
shouldn't
we-
be.
if by chance the
Yeah.
student, because there are few children those who don't follow the instructions, so when we are sending the final lists to you people, should we mark absent
Yes.
there in
ASL, SA1, SA2. And out of that, 20 marks listening, 20 marks speaking, which is converted to 10 and 10. That means if he misses even this 10 marks, he still has 10 marks plus 80. 90 marks to score from. Nothing to worry. This is how you should be convincing the parents. And it is only one part. Then again, you have an opportunity to do the L and S for 20, 20, 40, and then convert it out of 20. So there is no hassle.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. It's the same thing for every class, ma'am.
See, if once
Same.
you do the test again, parents will come. You
Yes.
did it that time, do it for us
Yes,
again now.
absolutely.
It's much better to
Yes.
follow a principle of saying there is going to be no second test on this.
we were
Please.
of the impression, ma'am, frankly speaking, that we are supposed to do it what come may, because we have to send the mark sheets to CBSE.
Ma'am, please tell me, Deepika, ma'am, if the child was absent on the day of the test, how many times? How many times?
We were facing this problem, frankly speaking. This is a practical problem.
Now, this is why I'm discussing this. This is a very, very, shall I say, practical problem which can happen to anybody in any institution. We are just giving you such. This is exactly why we are meeting here. This is what we need to solve here, which you can't do otherwise. इसके जवाब नहीं होते हैं ना, किससे पूछें?
It's better to follow a strong principle of no second test. Sorry?
Yeah, she's probably attended one of the ASL workshops and sure she would know about it. So try not to have any re tests. Do not encourage retests. My next question to you. My next question to you. Do you have any questions? I keep asking you questions to bring out these problems. Any other questions you have? No, no, we are talking only about listening, ma'am. We'll do speaking only when we come to the module. Let's talk about everything that comes under the listening now. Suppose most of you have the smart boards. ऐसे कोई schools हैं जहां नहीं भी है smart boards. How do you manage to do the test? How do you manage to conduct the test? You have a language lab. Wonderful. There are more options. Like Sonia said, you could take them all to the language lab, or you could take them in shifts if the language lab cannot accommodate more than 42 to 45 students at a time. First period, 9th A, second period, 9th B, third period, 9th C, so on. Suppose you don't have a language lab, jo ho sakta hai, it's possible that you don't have. You must be having a common place or a room or an auditorium or a conference hall which can accommodate many students at a time. Please take them there, distribute the worksheets, play it, finish it for all the sections at one go. Okay? ठीक है? You should know these options. This is how people are doing. My next question is, can I have the test for 9th A and 9th B today? And I'm a little busy with some project work of school. Can I do 9th C and DE tomorrow? Why not? Why not? Sorry? Absolutely, paper ek hi hai. Okay? And you're just filling answers. Okay? So you should be very careful and tell them that it will be all conducted simultaneously. Usually what they do is, sari classes 0 period to first period, they are going to have the listening test. So everybody is on alert. All sections A, B, C, D are having simultaneously. But if you have an option like lab, then one goes, another comes, second, third. Or if you have an auditorium, everybody sits at one time and finish. Yes, it is very convenient. It's very, very convenient. Everybody is there. All the teachers are there for invigilation. More than one teacher is there. So they're moving around there. So there is no problem. That leads me to the next question. When listening, please do have your tea simultaneously. And those biscuits. Okay, 2 biscuits. Okay, when you have invigilation in a listening session of the test, invigilator should be very careful, right? Invigilation honi chahiye. Is this right? Is what I'm doing right, or is it wrong? Right? Invigilator kar rahi hu, main invigilate kar rahi hu. Sorry? It should not be done. Some people say it should be done. Some people say it should not be done. Please give me reasons. How?
Miss something, then I will copy from the others also.
No, no. Sir, my question is, as a teacher invigilator, should I stay put in one place? Or should I move around? Actually, we are asked to invigilate.
I think it should be one place now.
We should not move around in a listening test. Yes, very, very true. You get disturbed, you get conscious, you get tense when a teacher is passing by you and peeping into your paper. It makes the student very conscious and nervous. And in that, he might miss listening to a very important sentence or word, which might be actually the answer. Invigilation in a listening test, you have to inform the invigilator, jo bhi subject ki ho, ki in between nahi jana hai. Just stay put in one place. Okay? Focus, and you can see that. Don't disturb them. There should be no talking on the mobile. There should be no discussions with your colleague, not in the listening test. Please, please make sure about that. It might be the most important thing for you on the planet, but for them, if they miss that 1 mark, it makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference. Is that clear? Any other question you want to ask me? Now, a few things which are very important. When you are announcing the date of the test, make sure you have left a little margin for the downloading of the test materials. You must have faced a lot of problems downloading the material for the test. वो आसानी से download नहीं होता. Is that right? Yes. Yes. We are trying to improve every time. You know, we get a feedback. That's why we say give us feedback. In fact, what has been done this time was actually it is class-wise, 9th, 10th, 11th. Don't try to download all. Go 9th, 10th, 11th separately. It's much faster. Second thing, there is a time slot for every part of our country. North ke Delhi, Ahmedabad, idhar, wo, udhar. They have been given time slots, but you know how teachers are. They've never followed the time slots because they want to go home and they want to do this work in the school itself. So everybody's trying to download at the same time. And after 2:30, 3:30, nobody is downloading. So that's the time when it really downloads faster. Or in the evenings. So keep a margin. Humne dekha hai in some schools, the test is announced, the material is not there. And then they are struggling for that test, worksheets and material. So make sure you have that much margin. You're all experienced teachers. Make sure you have enough margin, time to be able to download. Any other question? Anything else? Any problems you face, think about it. Over today, when you're traveling in the bus or the train or the taxi or the car, when you're going back home, run through your mind as to कैसे कैसे problems आपने face किए थे जब आपने ये test conduct किया था. I'll do it. You take over. No, explain the mark sheet. No, you. I think this we do tomorrow, not today. Not today. Not because
today,
we are
because
just having
there's
5 minutes. Yeah. We promise to let you off,
Tomorrow.
and we keep by our
we need more
promise.
time to discuss that, so we'll give you that tomorrow.
Is there any question?
Meanwhile, you can
Geeta
ask
and
your
Geetika.
questions.
Any other question, gentlemen? Any sawal?
It's time you all spoke now. We've done enough.
Have you understood whatever we discussed today? Does it clear a bit of the fogginess that was there, the haze? थोड़ा सा जो था, थोड़ा सा clarity आया vision में? रास्ता, road दिख रहा है? रोड
मैडम ये रोड में आपका काफी बहुत ठंडे हो
ना
रहे हैं।
कोई बात नहीं हमारे तो जाते ना
आने
बिठा को
तो
पिए के जाते
ठंडे से सूड़े सूड़े पीना तो अच्छा है ना इधर
हम अभी पीते ना clear so we are meeting tomorrow at 9
at 9
was it because that was registration you finished registering now if you want to go back home
you want to go back early you come early
and
we're also coming from very
far off believe me
other end
Ghaziabad the other end and so much of traffic on the road I left at 7:15 7:20 and I reached at whatever time Bilkul, same thing she came from Noida and she also so it's not very easy for us too but we are very happy to be here अगर आपको दिख नहीं रहा है तो दिखा देते हैं
नहीं हम वो हमारी प्रसन्नता हमारे शरीर के साइज में दिखता है
we are very prasannaful people any questions you have 2 homeworks we are very mean people I know 2 homeworks I've given you handouts
basically
don't say you have lost the handouts we have extra handouts कल सुबह यही करा दूंगी फिर ठीक है थोड़ा सा टाइम लगाएं and do it okay fine anything else
Podam for today ma
thank you so much have a wonderful journey and safe journey back home and be here ready for tomorrow if you come at 9 and in fact whether you come or not jitne bhi log honge we are the types who will start on the time because we won't be able to cover
will start on time.
yes we won't be able to cover up otherwise we have shifted a part of today's work for tomorrow because you all took time to come today you were all what is it they got a jumte jamte you got lost somewhere so did we and then we reached so tomorrow no jumna and no jamna
dolte dalte
no jumna and no jamna straight now you have no excuses for missing out this place now you know
because
where
one parent came and told us in my school she told her teacher who called her for complaining about a son said थे इतनी सारी यहाँ डोलती फिरे हो हमारे छोरे को ना संभाल सके हो
So don't
सारे
let that
छोरा जैसे 40 छोरा को संभालूं, ऐसे ना डोलती फिरूं. That teacher told
see,
me.
this is how it is. So please be here on time, and you're all teachers. I don't have to tell you more than that. Jaldi aaye, and I
और
request
जल्दी
all the
जाएं.
gentlemen, आप भी जल्दी आए. आपके बिना है तो बिल्कुल खाली रहेगा सर. मजा ही
हेमल,
नहीं आना है.
उनको young handsome men बोलते तो बहुत जल्दी आ जाएंगे.
Gentlemen बोला मैंने.
Young gentlemen,
young
handsome
gentlemen,
gentlemen,
young handsome gentlemen, young
जल्दी
handsome
आएं.
punctual prompt
Boys
gentlemen.
and girls, please come.
So please
early
be here.
tomorrow.
3:30 on the dot. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.